Parisian style vintage box that I've created using a sweet pea stamp from plate 6. And the box was painted with a dark chocolate espresso paint. First 2 coats of that and then let that dry. And then I painted 1 more coat of Crackle medium and let that dry. And then 1 coat of this lighter paint. As you can see, the darker paint is showing through as it crackled. Then on the top of the box I used some lace and added that, and then some pearls which I've alcohol inked to match. And then this is a frame that I alcohol inked to age and then put some metal accents on the top of it. There are some flowers circling around it. Then I stamped the image in a dark brown ink and used some distress around the edges to age up the edges, and then added a key. So that is the top of the box. And then on the side I added more lace and put some flat back pearls and some trim. Then on the inside of the box I used some crocheted lace and made a pocket and some trim that I also have colored to match, and a flower. Then on the bottom of the box is pressed felt to match. As you can see, the entire box has been distressed and inked. I distressed the edges with a darker ink color to give it more of an aged look. As you can see, as I turn the box, there's plenty of inking there to age up the box. So that is my project. Thank you for watching. As you can see, I have my painted box and I painted it with 2 coats of acrylic paint, and then I am just spreading on some Crackle medium over the top of that, and you want to just make sure that each area is thoroughly covered. Sometimes I'll even go back and do a second coat. Sometimes I notice that if I do a second coat it cracks a little bit better. So you can do it this way and just make sure that all of the paint is covered. And then if you choose to, you can actually use regular glue to do this as well. And when you spread it on, you just need to make sure that if you use regular glue, that when you spread it like this, that while it's still wet, then you paint your paint over the top of the wet glue. And you need to also make sure, I found out from experimenting, that you need to make sure that you have a pretty good layer of the glue on top before you attempt to add your paint. And then the other advice that I would give if you do choose to use the glue is that you make sure that you dry your surface flat like this, because if you dry it like this downward, I've found that sometimes the glue tends to kind of run down a little and you'll have crackle and a dribble. So you could either do that or try to dry it first before you set it down, just so that it's not thick enough that it's going to run. So I will be back when this is dry. Okay, our box is all air dried and we are ready for the next step, which is to take your contrasting color and we're going to paint it onto the box just in nice even strokes. You don't want to go back over it because that actually kind of messes up the crackling effect. So you're just going to quickly go across. Try not to leave track marks where your brush goes. If you can see, it is already starting to crack. So this happens pretty quickly once it's all been prepped. So, and then see how it's just starting to crack there? I'll just continue on, just painting nice even strokes without cooling the paint. And you can just use whatever kind of a paintbrush that you prefer. I'm just using one of these foam brushes. And you can see at the top there, it's already starting to crack. If we go back over to our first side, it's cracked even more. So this happens really fast once it is in the process. So I will finish painting the rest of this box and then I will be back. Okay, as you can see, I have finished letting everything dry and it's nice and crackled everywhere. And now I'm going to work on the distressing. I like to distress my boxes so that they look a little bit more aged, and so I just would edge along the edges. At first I used the brown one and then I used the black one over the top just to give it a little bit more depth so that it looks more like this, where you have kind of a combo of brown and black so that it really looks aged up. So I will complete that step and then I will be back.